Morning Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston, and across from me is Mr. Charles Chuck Thompson on a beautiful Friday morning here in Nashville, Tennessee. How's it going today, Chuck?
I don't know about beautiful.
Yeah, I haven't really looked. I don't really know.
But we're going to talk about some dumb things today.
I just started saying that.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I like talking about dumb stuff. It is Friday. If it's your first time. You're a first-time listener right now, just so you know. Every Friday for as long as we can remember, which I don't know, maybe it's like 4 years or something like that, we've been rounding up a list of all the dumbest things that we saw over the last week. We throw in some submissions, a live group throws in some submissions, and we vote on which one is the dumbest thing that happened. And then that is the winner of Dumb Bleep of the Week. Why did we call it Dumb Bleep of the Week? No clue. That's a great question. I want you to let us know. Mm-hmm. But it's the name now, and so we have to keep doing it. That's just the way things are.
Well, when we first started, this place is kid friendly. Still is.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, Nate will drop an F-bomb.
Nah.
And he'll apologize to his mom beforehand.
Never done that before.
And but most of the time, we like to keep it kid friendly around here.
We try to.
So we couldn't say like the dumbest of the week or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, bleep and week rhyme, so it's fine anyway.
Mm-hmm. They're both verbs.
We have 10 submissions, and we have a hard stop in about 53 minutes. So we're going to get going right now with Dumb Bleep number 1. Some of these are pretty fun. I'm excited to go through these. They're going to be pretty quick. We're going to try to be quick this week. And by the way, you should listen, subscribe, follow, do all the stuff, hang out with us on X and Instagram and all that kind of stuff if you're not already doing that. But come hang out with us. Interact with us on X because we get paid for it. All right.
No one cares. Let's go.
All right, here we go. This wasn't...
Give the people what they want.
I almost didn't put this in here because it's like a week after the fact, but the Pope, you remember the Pope when he was alive?
Mm-hmm.
They had a funeral for him last weekend, I believe. They had a funeral for him. And I saw... like all the left-wing people on X, you know, the people who post something and immediately there's like 10,000 retweets on it, just like immediately. All these people were talking about Trump's blue suit. And it's one of these scenarios, one of these situations where I'm like, why? Why do this? Why is this the thing?
It media look so dumb.
I know, because here's this screenshot here from Fortune magazine. The Vatican asked Pope Francis funeral attendees to wear all black. Trump wore a blue suit. And then we have from Republicans Against Trump. The strict dress code for the Pope's funeral required men to wear dark suits and long black ties. Naturally, Trump was the only one who showed up in a blue suit and tie. And then you see a picture here, and in the picture, Trump is the only one wearing a blue suit and tie. Same with the Fortune magazine thing. You see there's Trump sitting there in blue and all the people.
I saw another guy in that picture with a blue suit.
Yeah, there actually is a guy right here.
Yeah.
Also wearing a blue suit, but we don't know who that guy, and what's that lady wearing? She's wearing blue.
That looks like it's from Walmart.
Seems to be. But then it gets even funnier, and it's the point where I'm like, why? Why do this? It's so easy. Why destroy any credibility that you have left with people whatsoever? This is the sort of 2024 election nonsense that all piled up and culminated to me deciding to vote for Trump. This picture right here is pretty funny because what you see is that it's like over half of the people are wearing blue suits.
Lots of blue suits.
And not only are over half of the people in this picture wearing blue suits, Joe Biden is wearing a blue suit with a blue tie.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
And so why do this? I just don't understand.
Yeah.
It's so easy to disprove this stupid lie that you're throwing out there for a stupid controversy about someone wearing the wrong color to a funeral. And you know that you had to crop the picture in to make Trump the only person that was wearing the blue suit, meaning the picture with all the other people existed out there in the world, and you knew that it was going to happen. So why do this? I just don't get it. I don't understand.
That's dumb. and funny.
So for like a minute to add on to this number one, another similar thing I just saw.
In all fairness, though, Joe Biden didn't know he had a blue suit on.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't dress himself.
No,
this is to blame. This I would say Jill is to blame for that whole situation there.
And what's that guy wearing a gray suit?
Yeah, that's
down below.
That's not even close.
That's not on the list.
The guy next to him's wearing a hat. That's disrespectful. Okay.
Yeah.
To add on to this same kind of thing, there's this post here that's from this person says, detailed Army plans for a potential military parade on President Donald Trump's birthday in June call for more than 6,600 soldiers, at least 150 vehicles, 50 helicopters, 7 bands, and possibly a couple thousand civilians. And Crystal Ball says, this is disturbing. Now, I'll agree. When I saw this, I was like, all right, dude, you're taking the fascism a little bit too far. We all get it. A little bit of fun fascism every now and then. Okay, we've been living with it our whole lives. All right, that's fine. But you want you're going to throw together this whole thing on your birthday to have people have tanks rolling down the street, chewing it up, so you got to fix it again afterwards, That's terrible. It's a stupid idea. Then I go to the AP article, which says, Army plans for a potential parade on Trump's birthday call for 6,600 soldiers, AP learns. Now, the headline is very telling here. The plans for a potential parade on Trump's birthday. What you find from the story is the planning documents obtained by the AP are dated April 29th and 30th and have not been publicly released. They represent the Army's most recent blueprint for its long-planned 250th birthday festival on the National Mall and the newly added element, a large military parade that Trump has long wanted but is still being discussed. What you find from the story is that this plan has actually been in the works for almost 2 years because it is the Army's 250th birthday. And they have been planning this. Now, it just so happens that Trump was born on the same day as the Army.
Okay? Imagine that.
That's fine. I mean, that is, if that's not proof of God, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Okay. That's divine intervention right there. It just happened. It's another one of those things where I'm like, why AP do this whole thing where the headline is the Army plans for this on Trump's birthday. Oh, and by the way, it's the 250th birthday of the Army, and they've been planning the celebration for 2 years. Why?
They'll get a lot of shares on
That's because a lot of people are going to share it because it goes along with the story. Now, just to be clear, Trump has wanted a parade for a while. He talked about this in his first term. He wanted the parade. They decided not to do it because it was going to cost like almost $70 million to do the parade, to get all of the military equipment out there and doing all that stuff. And they're literally going to destroy the road because he wants tanks rolling down the road. And they're going to have to redo the road afterwards. If they do this is really stupid, and we will make fun of them for doing that. There's no reason to go spend $60, $70 million on a stupid parade because he saw Kim Jong do it, and everyone was super happy about it. It's just not a good idea. No. All right, that's done. Bleep number one. Number two, we got Adam Schiff. He says the time to act is now. I'm introducing the Assault Weapons Ban Act of 2025. I bet that's going to go real far. I bet he has a lot of plans for this going super far, for sure. He's not just... what do they call that these days? Virtue signal, I think is what it's called. Well, let's see what he has to say. God, those eyes, they get me every time. Just scares me. Staring deep into my soul.
Demon eyes.
Crazy.
Today I will be introducing the Assault Weapons Ban of 2025, a bill that would ban the sale, manufacture, import, and transfer of military-style assault weapons. Since 2006, there have been 486 mass shootings involving assault weapons. Hundreds and hundreds of Americans have been killed in these mass shootings. This bill is a way to attack that massive threat to our safety and security. Dianne Feinstein introduced the first assault weapons ban 31 years ago after a school shooting in Stockton, California. For 10 years, that bill had a dramatic impact on mass shootings and mass casualties. But when that expired, mass fatalities and gun shootings went up by 236%. The impact was that dramatic. It's time to pass an assault weapons ban again.
You know what also happened at that time when it shot up is they started counting way more things as mass shootings, like right afterwards when that happened. We've done some extensive videos on why that data looks the way that it does. The assault weapons, when you look at, he was talking about how many shootings there have been and how many people have been killed, is like a minuscule amount of the people that have been killed, even in any violence or even in gun violence, if you were to separate it out to that. But then of any homicides that there are, it's still just a very, very, very super tiny amount that there is. Now, we all know that this is really dumb, but I did want to tell you, I was looking for something to really bring it home, to really bring the dumb home. And I got a gift. We got a gift, honestly, from Josh Eckel. And so he retweeted this, reposted this, and he said, "Totally tone deaf. Fascism is on the rise in America. Now give up your guns." Now, here's what bothered me about this. If you follow Josh, and if you know Josh, like we know Josh, seems like a nice guy. Nice guy, Josh. Not new guy Josh, who's in the group. Nice guy Josh. Seems
Different
like
Josh.
a nice dude, yeah. Talks about Trump, fascism, and authoritarianism all the time, and every single one of these things is fascism and authoritarianism that there is. And he's led us last week to that topic, like, well, if we just went back to December of 2024, the Founding Fathers would have been super happy about how our country looked. Anytime he talks about any of the things that Trump proposes or Republicans propose in general, it's fascism and authoritarianism. Adam Schiff decides he wants to grab all of your guns and ban assault weapons. It's tone deaf. That's just a tone deaf politician.
Not authoritarianism.
No, it's not authoritarian.
I see what you mean.
It's not fascism.
Yeah.
No, this is not communism. This is not a tyrant. This
be
isn't
fair,
tyranny.
To be fair to
what this
Josh,
is.
he did call Adam Schiff a clown.
He did put
With
a
a
little
clown
clown
emoji.
emoji
Yeah.
right there. But that just, it goes further into that whole TDS thing. And I think Josh Eckel might be one of the greatest examples of this, because when he sees Trump do it, I guarantee if Trump went out there and decided he was going to take all the assault weapons, you think Josh would have been like, this is tone deaf. No, he wouldn't have said that. And it's about those specific policies and specific actions that you're proposing the government do and the way that it exercises its power on its people. And this is one of them. This is an authoritarian action for someone to try and ban weapons. All right. It is not tone deaf, Josh. All right. That's what I have. That's all I have to
There's
say.
nothing for me to add there.
Yeah.
You want me to come back?
Luckily for all of us, and luckily for Trump, Kamala Harris has reappeared. Okay.
She's still out
So
there?
Kamala Harris reappeared. She saw her shadow, and we still have 3.5 years of Donald Trump.
I know.
And so that's what we have right now. She had just a great metaphor, a powerful metaphor, in fact, to give us for the time that we're living in and the values that we should hold dear in our hearts, of holding the values that we hold dear in our hearts. And so here's her elephant metaphor. Here we go.
In fact, please allow me, friends, to digress for a moment. Okay.
Please do.
It's kind of dark in here, but I'm asking for a show of hands. Who saw that video from a couple of weeks ago? The one of the elephants at the San Diego Zoo during the earthquake? Google it if you've not seen it. So that scene has been on my mind. Everybody's asking me, what you've been thinking about these days? Well,
Why is this so funny? First off, why is it so funny?
I don't know.
Did you see that video of the elephants at the zoo during an earthquake? You know, when those elephants were terrified and they all thought that they were going to...
People ask me what I'm
like,
thinking
what's
about.
the funny part about this?
Yeah.
I don't get it. All right, sorry.
The fact that she thinks about elephants.
All right.
been thinking about these days? Well... So in the video, for those who haven't seen it, here those elephants were. And as soon as they felt the earth shaking beneath their feet, they got in a circle and stood next to each other to protect the most vulnerable. Think about it. What a powerful metaphor.
Yep.
She
in
actually-
a world full of earthquakes, be an elephant.
I couldn't find. Does she ever think that that's what happened when people decided to vote for Trump?
No.
Actually,
No.
that they were trying to protect their kids from the people that were trying to give them top and bottom surgery or something like that.
Those are parasites.
Oh my God.
There's a difference.
She elaborates much more on the elephants. It only gets worse. I couldn't find the full video, but I did hear the full clip earlier this morning. But anyhow, that's the Kamala Harris part right there. Let me see what I had next. Is it Tim Walz? Yeah, we can make this one. Came from the group, and it was in fact this is Tim Walz saying the truth about why he was put on the ticket. Just imagine we had that lady we were just listening to, and we had this guy, and I thought they were going to win.
And you thought that could have been your president and vice president.
Oh God! All right, here we go.
I knew I was on the ticket. I would argue because we did a lot of amazing progressive things in Minnesota that improved people's lives. But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the permission structure to say, look, you can do this and vote for this. And you look across those swing states, with the exception of Minnesota.
You lost.
So he was there. Yeah, he was there to talk to white people and mainly white guys.
Because everyone knew you were fake.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know if
you don't fix trucks. We could see. We could tell.
this comes from a group of people that are, frankly, I don't want to use the term, but it applies to politicians. They're narcissists. I know that that's a popular term to use, that a lot of people use all the time. But they think that they're so much smarter than everyone else and that no one can see what they're doing, and that they need to pick this person to try and code talk to these people to give them permission to vote for this kind of thing. And the thing is, we're not all as dumb as they think. In fact, they're pretty dumb. And you can see straight through that stuff. All right?
Most people
Do you
can.
think, Trump's crazy? Do you think Trump has been code talking to people? No, he just talks. Whatever happens, good or bad, that's just what happens.
He's just himself.
Now, maybe he supports policies that he thinks are popular, that he thinks are going to get the people going, stuff like that. But he's not changing the way he talks. He's not there to give anyone permission, nothing like that. He's just him, for better or worse. And that's what a lot of people like about him. What we are all so sick of is your typical politician who is just lying to you all the time. Just like what Chappelle said, he's an honest liar. That's at least he's upfront about it.
And Tim Walz was just putting smoke in your tampon and put it in the boys' bathroom.
So
That's what he was doing.
He's blowing smoke up your tampon.
That's and everyone could see it.
That's all he was doing. All right, that's number 3. Let's go to number 4. Oh, this is Hope Walz. This is his daughter. I just saw this morning, and it knocked one of the videos I had in here out of the running because there's a little pun there because she's talking about how running is political, and she's going to go on a rant about this. And let me find that video. There it is. And I almost don't blame her because of the way that she grew up. So it's not entirely her fault.
Yeah. I feel sorry for her, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, who her dad is and the way that she's been talked to. She's been code talked to since she was a little girl. And so, but here she is.
Dad probably showed her how to use a tampon.
Here she is dealing seriously with some of the world's real problems.
Running as an act is political. And you know who taught me that? Tim Walz. The first thing he told me when I was first getting into it in high school, granted, I don't really do it as much anymore. I go in spurts. But when I was first getting into it in high school, the first thing he told me was that running is a privilege, and being a part of the running community is a privilege that not all people have access to. Whether you do it recreationally or you race a lot or you are, at the elite level, it is a privilege. Whether it be you just having the time to run, access to funds to buy the gear, access to, healthy quality foods that fuel you as you're training and as you're running, access to, a safe, stable situation that allows you to be in a good mental state to be able to run. All of those things are hard to come by. And if you have them, and are a part of the running community, that is a privilege. And that, again, was the first thing he taught me. So I don't really understand how platforming and administration that cuts mental health services, cuts, funding and literal shipments to food banks, is entirely hurting the climate, because you can get into running in the climate. That's a whole nother thing. But is cutting, funds to climate initiatives and actively hurting the planet in that way. Sending people away without due process, villainizing minorities. All of those things are preventing people from getting into the running community, which is what I thought Kate's platform was for. But it's also just damaging to society as a whole. We should not be normalizing these people. I'm not going to tell anyone what to do with their page, but I think it's insulting to my dad to leap.
So now we're getting to the point where apparently there's this running influencer who visited the White House and I guess is a Trump fan or something like that. But I want to stick on
a crime.
The running is a privilege thing. And I've got a lot of jokes that I had thought about in my head, and the fact that like running is not a privilege. Driving a car, and maybe you could say is and it's not even a privilege. I don't like this word privilege. Like, let's say you got yourself into the point in life where you can afford to run. You see how ridiculous this conversation is?
Yeah.
I can go run right now. I'm wearing shorts. I got tennis shoes on.
Well, the problem is,
like,
to achieve equality, though, Nate, we all need to cut our legs off. So that
some people don't have legs.
Yeah.
You know,
and then the folks that run with prosthetics, we all need to be on their same level, because it's not fair to them that they don't have legs anymore.
I was going to try to have this serious conversation, but it's such a ridiculous premise to even, it's such a niche thing also, like she's involved in the running community, so she must think that like this is the center of a lot of people's lives and stuff, which I guess a lot of people run for fun, psychopaths, run for fun.
Exactly.
I'm not even sure running's good for you. Like,
unless like a bear's chasing you.
Yeah,
it's probably good for you.
It's good for practice, like training in a survival scenario, zombie apocalypse kind of thing. Well, it depends on which zombie apocalypse, If it's like Walking Dead zombies, you'll be in a wheelchair and you'll be fine. They're slow and boring.
But it's like The Last of Us.
Yeah, not even like them, like World War Z or I Am Legend zombies. You got to run pretty quick to be able to get away from those things,
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. Running's a privilege.
Zombie? Oh, yeah. I hate calling things a privilege. If you've gotten yourself to this point where you can buy the shoes and the whatever stuff that it takes, whatever the stuff is, so you have the ability to run, whatever the special stuff is.
I tell you what, my kid, runs around,
so
and he doesn't care whether or not he's got shoes on or clothes. I'll tell you that much right now.
It's not a privilege. You earned it. Okay, you did it. You earned it. All right. I'm not gonna feel like I'm a privileged person. God, this is such a stupid conversation. Let's move on to Dumb Bleep number one.
The Fed Haters Club is saying we should have had my dad on for this conversation because he ain't got no legs. Also, I kind of feel bad for her because she also looks like she has that tendency that she knows what she's talking about, but clearly she doesn't. She's
oblivious.
She's kind of fumbling around a bit, but she like appears smart.
Yeah.
To her than she is.
Yeah.
She's trying to, at least.
God, imagine if she had a posh British accent.
Here's the other thing. You can kind of like see right through what she's saying. It's just all BS.
It's definitely BS.
You know, like you're trying to like virtue signal that you understand what it's like to be a victim who doesn't have access to running. What is happening?
I'm not sure.
All right.
Number 5, I already talked about this on Wednesday when Charlie wasn't here, so we're going to breeze past some of these points real quick. Charlie, I don't know if you caught it online when this happened, but essentially a story came out saying that Amazon was going to be displaying tariff costs for consumers. So when you went to buy something, it would say, here's the cost of the item and here's the tariff. Now, people on the right, and I mean, it filled up your feed for like 2-3 hours, my feed anyway. For like 2-3 hours, people just dunking on Amazon, talking about how ridiculous this was and anti-Trump and all that. And I just thought that was totally ridiculous. And I grabbed a couple examples here. First off, the press secretary reacted and called displaying the tax that Amazon would be required to collect on behalf of the government a hostile and political act by Amazon. Okay?
Yeah.
This is a hostile and political act. Now, I think that's ridiculous. Breitbart called it treason because they titled the article, Amazon sides with China in the trade war. And so Breitbart called displaying the tax that they are required to collect on behalf of the government treason.
Yeah. By the way, you see this in all kinds of places. I keep telling people this, like, look at your airline ticket. You know, all the extra taxes they passed for security and things like that, they're printed right on the receipt.
Yeah.
The airlines don't pay for it. You pay for it. And so these tariffs, you pay for them. If you order the product, you're going to pay for it.
You are going to. Laura Loomer said that Jeff Bezos is proof you can't trust the tech oligarchs. She must have just left a Bernie Sanders rally right after that, or right before that. And then she floated the idea that we cut Blue Origin's government contracts with the Pentagon because Amazon was going to display the tax that they are required to collect on behalf of the government every time you buy a product. So
what if they called it something different instead of tariff? They just called it like import tax.
Yeah. Now that sounds even worse. It's got the word tax associated with it. That's not good. Now, just to be clear, according to Amazon, they were never planning on doing this. Of course, that could just be them saving face. They were going to do it on their cheap Temu competitor app because Temu's doing this now. And so they were going to do it on their, I think it's called like Haul or something like that. It's like if you want to buy.
Never heard of it.
If you want to buy 0 to single use goods super cheaply, they've got an app for that. So that's fine. I like regular Amazon where I buy like 3 to 4 use goods, you know, not 0 to 1. Anyhow, I just wanted to point out the fact that every time I buy something on Amazon, it's a screenshot from my phone, they collect a tax known as a sales tax that they're required to collect on behalf of the government every single time. And so I do not know why people are freaking out about this, except the administration spent a lot of time telling people that China pays the tax, that the other government pays the tax, which, as we've said many times, many times, and everyone should listen to this show every single day of the week when they want to, that government doesn't pay the tax. Our businesses literally collect that tax as if it is a sales tax that they have to collect when you buy things, and then they send that money to the government.
They're not just going to eat it.
No. Some of them are going to eat some of it, but if you got 145% tax on something, you're not going to eat $145 tax on a $100 product. Okay?
That you made for $50.
If you had a 25% tax on it, maybe they would eat some of that. But when the tax is more than the cost of the product itself, they're not going to eat that. It's just not going to happen.
They can't.
Right? They can't eat it.
Yeah.
They'd have to pay you to buy their stuff, basically. So no, it's not going to happen. All right. Number 6 is it's Joe Biden's fault. And let's see, we got 26 minutes left here before we absolutely have to go. The market was down 2% earlier this week. By the way, it's never good to make any kind of statements based off of what the market is doing in a single day or even in a single week. It's difficult to even do it in a month. You never know what exactly is going to happen. All right. Like this day, the market was down 2% and people were freaking out because the GDP number just came out. Whereas they had thought it was going to be like 1.8% growth. It was negative 0.3% contraction in the GDP. And so the market was down a couple percent. It was immediately back up, and it's back over that now. I could show you the trend lines on the chart if you want to know why that happened. But anyhow, Donald Trump came out that morning and said, Charlie,
this is the Trump stock market.
No, I'm sorry, I should have been more clear. The right side is what it's not laid out very well. The right side is what he said
reverse.
Early in the morning. Yeah.
Reverse. Okay, sorry. This is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. I didn't take over until January 20th. tariffs will soon start kicking in and companies are starting to move into the USA in record numbers. Our country will boom, but we have to get rid of the Biden overhang. This will take a while and has nothing to do with tariffs. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Only that he left us with bad numbers, but when the boom begins, it will be like no other. Be patient.
Now, listen, I hope he's right about that. But I'm going to tell you this right now. As someone
When a politician tells you it has nothing to do with something, that's what it has to do with.
That's the thing it has to do with. I'm going to tell you in no uncertain terms. These are certain terms. What's happening in the stock market has everything to do with tariffs. Okay, 98% to do with tariffs. What is happening in the stock market? So him saying it's got nothing to do with tariffs. No, that is not the case at all. The funny part was the side-by-side. In last year, when the market was randomly having a good time, moving up, Joe Biden was the president at that time. But guess what? At that time, while Biden was the president, it wasn't even Biden's stock market. It's Biden's market now. It wasn't Biden's market then, because Trump said,
January 29th, 2024, this is the Trump stock market. Because my polls against Biden are so good that investors are projecting that I will win, and that will drive the market up. Everything else is terrible. Watch the Middle East. And record-setting inflation has already taken its toll. Make America great again.
There you go. All right. So that was
it's funny how you can claim when
Trump
the stock market is yours.
Yeah.
And
when
distance yourself when it's not.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's awesome. Okay, so this whole thing is it's Biden's fault right now. So we're going to move to one of the it's Biden's fault scenarios here. Not that one. How about JD Vance? Let's get the JD Vance. There we go. This is a question.
President
Here's an answer.
thinks that we have to make more of our own stuff.
The economy shrank. First time in 3 years. People are pointing to the tariff policy. There are people looking at their 401ks that are worried. What do you tell them? Is this going to work?
So the first thing is, when you talk about the economy, this is Joe Biden's economy, and we inherited $2 trillion of debt, the highest peacetime deficits in American history, a $1.2 trillion trade deficit, which fundamentally means we're not making enough of our own stuff. And the president came in and he said, this is not always going to be easy. It would have been very easy for Donald Trump to do what administrations past have done, which is borrow a lot of money.
Now, listen, there's a part of this that he says that I can be like, okay, I get it. There's overhang from an administration, okay? You haven't done your own bills, your own budgets, stuff like that. I get that there is some. But the thing I have to tell you is that people are not going to buy this. The extreme MAGA people are going to buy this because nothing can ever be Trump's fault. But in general, people are not going to buy this. The GDP had everything to do with tariffs. We discussed that on Wednesday. And the stock market has had everything to do with tariffs. That is the case. And so when you're blaming those two things, the GDP and the stock market, on Biden still, it just ain't going to play. Take responsibility for it. I would rather than come out and say, yeah, you know what? It's not easy to transition your economy into something that makes sense. It's just not easy to do that. They were saying that, and they have said that. There's going to be some pain. It's going to hurt a little bit. Mm-hmm. But during the pain, you can't say, oh, this is someone else's fault. No, we're in the pain. You said there was going to be some pain. Here it is. Here's some of the pain right now. We're going through it. Just be honest. JD Vance wants to run for president. I don't want the fake politician out here faking stuff to me. He is a politician, though, so he's going to do that, Let's see. I'm going to skip over the next one. We're just going to leave that for Biden's fault because Pam Bondi had something important to say for number 7 about fentanyl. Now, first off, these cabinet meetings, as a guy who voted for Trump, let me tell you how the cabinet meetings goes. It's your turn to speak. You give Trump a blowjay, and then you talk about all the great stuff that he's doing afterwards. Mm-hmm. That's basically how the cabinet meeting goes. Okay. Each person essentially has to, I'm sorry, guy, I'm going to use like left-wing term. They basically have to like kiss the ring and humble themselves and talk about how great the leader is. And it's weird. It's just weird. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
Pam?
President, your
And then she says something really stupid. That was the point of the video.
first 100 days has far exceeded that of any other presidency in this country, ever. Ever. Never seen anything like it. Thank you. Your directive to me was very simple. Make America safe. And despite that, we've still been defending over 200 civil lawsuits filed against you. On top of everything else, I think I'm representing every one of you in this room in some capacity. And no, you will not be arrested by the U.S. Marshals. Over 200 lawsuits, over 50 injunctions, and now we've got multiple cases in front of the Supreme Court, and we will succeed, and we are doing great in front of the Supreme Court, President, and we'll continue on with that. I was at DEA yesterday, and they said to me, you, Donald Trump, have taken the handcuffs off of DEA agents. And as a result of, since you have been in office, President Trump, your DOJ agencies have seized more than 22 million fentanyl pills, 3,400 kilos of fentanyl since you've been your last 100 days, which saved, are you ready for this, media? 258 million lives. Kids are dying every day.
All right.
Wow, all of America was going to die.
So that's the problem. I think they had the Congressional Budget Office put together those numbers, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
How many people could this potentially kill? And like, oh, well, that's enough to kill 258 million people.
Yeah.
Well, therefore, all those 258 million people would have died had we not seized those pills. Therefore, you have just saved 258 million people from dying. Apparently,
I think this was a lab test. They meant to say 258 million mice.
God.
But they translated that to humans. Humans.
It's not okay. I don't think we have to explain how that's not possibly the number that were saved. Okay. No, we don't have. It's just stop being ridiculous. Stop being ridiculous. You like how we started the show with all the stupid stuff Democrats were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make sure we do that. Solidify the base, get them hooked in, get them to listen to a couple ads, you know, stuff like that. And now we're going to show you the fact that we are unbiased
for the most part.
Media members for the most part, except for that when we're biased. Okay, the next part is number 8, and this is the MS-13 comment. This one was unfortunate. So they're asking about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and they're arguing about whether or not he had MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles. You see the picture of got the marijuana and the smiley and the cross and the skull. Well, there was another picture that went around, and from what I can tell, Trump thought it was real. Okay. And that might be the reason this guy's still in prison. Okay. Someone opened up a phone, an app on their phone and altered an image. We just call it photoshopping these days, but I'm not sure how many people use Photoshop. It's just one of those verbs that we have. But anyhow, here's the situation.
He wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
Well,
over that.
Wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not
Don't
have the
do that.
letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was photoshopped. So let me
That
just...
was Photoshop, Terry. You can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry. But you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshop? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but they're there
in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
Well, we'll take a look at that.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at
Why
that,
don't you
sir.
just say, yes, he does, and, go on to some...
All right. It's unfortunate. I've seen this happen with older folks that there are out there, okay? Not used to our newfangled ways of altering things in real life. This, it's just unfortunate. It's very unfortunate when you see this kind of thing happen. Now, I've heard a lot of people make excuses that Trump was talking
Was
about.
it in fact Photoshopped?
The interpretation of it. This is the photo, and Trump is holding this photo. And what they did in this picture was they wrote out what they have interpreted each one of these symbols to mean. The marijuana smiley cross being a 1 and the skull being 3, I guess maybe because of those 3 right there. And so on the picture, yeah, there's Trump holding the picture. Thank you. MS-13. And you hear Trump say several times he had MS-13 written out on his knuckles. This is the picture from the group. Actually, I'm going to, let me see here. How do I open this up? Yeah, there we go.
I mean, his name is Kilmar.
It's a picture. Kill.
Yeah. His name starts with kill.
This is Trump finding out that he had MS-13 written on his knuckles right there. And unfortunately,
you can see it clear as day.
It's look at it. It's right there.
It says MS-13.
And he was so persistent about this. The reporter was like, no, they could be interpreted that way. He's like, no. He had MS-13 written on his knuckles. He's like, no, that's it's just. I hope someone told him afterwards. I hope that's not what's leading him to refuse to try and bring the guy back, because listen, I don't really care about the guy all that much. I do think that it's a dumb hill to die on. Like, this is going to be the defiance of a court that you pick, Why don't we just abolish the income tax and we'll defy the court on that? That sounds pretty cool, But how about you bring this guy back, he goes to court one day, and then you ship him off somewhere else? Problem solved. There we go. Problem solved. Okay, anyhow, that was that right there. Let's get back into our slideshow. Sorry, behind the scenes footage right there. Whew, we're almost out of time, aren't we?
We are.
We discussed this one with the group for a minute yesterday, and I just wanted to point out that this blackout in Spain was caused by renewable energy. And there's this Michael Schellenberger thread that was posted in the group in the Dumb Bleep section, and that's good. I wanted to see if anyone else covered it. In fact, the New York Times covered it. And the article is called "How Spain's Success in Renewable Energy May Have Left It Vulnerable." And
what a way to write a headline.
Led me to say, this is what, success is their biggest failure. They try too hard.
Yeah,
they've achieved too much. Actually, is what happened.
It's like when you're in an interview and they're like, "What's your greatest weakness?" Oh, well, I try too hard.
Yeah,
I do too much.
Just try too hard.
I take on too much responsibility.
Okay, so they actually detail what exactly the problem is here, and it's something we didn't do it on the episode yesterday, did we? We did it before the episode, right? Is that when we talked about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was only for the Fed Haters Club.
Essentially, the problem is that renewable energy is a much weaker form of energy and has to rely on a bunch of electronic inverters to create the energy, to create the 50 hertz, that it has to stay within that frequency range. And since it's a much weaker energy that is not being created by spinning power with mechanical inertia behind it, it is much more vulnerable to temperature swings or atmospheric disturbances, as they called it. And essentially, they have sort of even the New York Times here and people in Europe, I guess, are ringing the alarm bell in the fact that they might have to go back to some spinning generation like nuclear or coal or natural gas or whatever it is, because Spain had just celebrated 6 days beforehand. Spain had just celebrated their first weekday of 100% renewable generation. And 6 days later, they hit net zero, which means they had no power going on at all. So congratulations to them for doing that. The funny part about this is then the New York Times goes into how Europe needs to prepare. You know how we need to prepare for climate change? We need to prepare for natural disasters, stuff like that. Now Europe has to go through a plan of how they're going to prepare for renewable power and all the problems that it brings them. Okay. It's like this new disaster scenario they have to cook up because they forced themselves into this scenario where the whole place can black out. and it's not even entirely fixed. I mean, you're talking like mass chaos when power goes out. You don't imagine all the things that happen, but there are stories of people stuck in dentist chairs because they were in the middle of a procedure. Of course, people stuck in elevators. Charlie's done that before. You know, just all, I mean.
At least I had breakfast with me. That was nice.
Yeah, you did have your breakfast.
Look, this is what government does. They don't look at any downsides. You know, they just force things upon you no matter what. And when it all goes wrong, it's not their fault.
By the way, they spend billions, hundreds of billions of dollars to do it too. All the while, people are warning them that this kind of thing can happen and that they need to keep some safe, reliable energy there. Or you could just use the reliable, clean energy like nuclear. That would be a good idea, you know. But you need to have these things. But instead, like, no, we got to go 100% renewable, and boom, gone.
The grid goes down.
It's just gone, and so, you know, they sort of deserve it, but not everyone there deserves it. Okay, not all of those Spaniards. Okay,
this is when I say, like, let's give them what they want. Let's just see how it plays out.
Good.
See what you want. See, I mean, this is what you voted for.
Yeah. Okay, that's number 9. Number 10, we got to do super fast because we got to get the voting. And honestly, I'm about to pee my pants. Also, have been for the last few dumbs that we've been going through. Go ahead with this one, Charlie.
Oh, I did see this.
I'm sure.
All right. The post is, what's going on with Sanders? How do you even say his first name?
Shedeur, I guess.
Shedeur?
I've never actually heard anyone say it before, so I just say Shedeur.
It's pure racism, and you're not going to change my mind. So this is Deion Sanders' son, the quarterback.
Yep.
In the NFL draft. You don't go from a top 5 pick to not being drafted in the first 2 rounds other than owners trying to humble a kid who is unapologetically confident in his abilities. Well, turns out the kid's an asshole.
Yeah,
that's actually the real reason. And it's not because he's black. He's just a dick.
He's that, and also I don't like this this college kid coming up thinking that he's like the best thing since
God.
sliced bread or since God. Because you see a lot of these kids get humble when they get into the league. This is a little bit of sports ball talk. And there's the libertarians listening right now, okay? Sorry, we're not talking about, I don't want to be offensive to anyone, whatever the case may be. We're going to talk sports ball for a minute. When these quarterbacks come in and they're playing against NFL defenders, people who truly know how to read these quarterbacks, they get torn apart. And so when you go in there with your head just packed full of how awesome you are, and you walk in there, and by the way, you're telling everyone about it the whole time. That's all you talk about. Have you guys ever heard... Have you ever heard Deion Sanders talk? I mean, he had a show, you know, or he had a segment. So I guess it wasn't a specific show. The dude has always annoyed the hell out of me. I'm sorry. Is that racist? Is it racist? Actually, I just want people to do it on the field. I don't need to listen to you talk about how amazing you are all the time. Just do it on the field. Then it'd be proof.
People
right there.
will talk about it.
You know, they'll talk. Let everyone else talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Give them some room to talk about how amazing you are.
No, I'm not saying you can't be excited and, you know, those types of things. Here's what really happened. Well, let's read some more first. So a response was 90% of the players drafted so far are black. Cam Ward was the number 1 pick. He's black, by the way.
Okay.
Number 1 pick. Mike Tomlin has passed up on Shedeur twice. It has nothing to do with racism. And the person responds is, you're not black, so you don't understand the black racism.
Have you ever been to black?
I'm talking about. The league wants to blindside black players.
Wants blindside black players like the movie.
Yeah. Not already rich black players with Deion as their father, even if they're better than 99.9% of the class, and if Deion is a top 3 player of all time.
Which is how you know you can't trust this person whatsoever, okay? Deion was good, okay, and we're Cowboys fans. Yes. Deion Sanders, top 3 player of all time in NFL history. Okay, that's stupid. First,
he wasn't even top 3 player on the Dallas Cowboys.
And then second, who cares?
You got
if
Troy Aikman,
who
Michael
cares if your
Irvin,
dad,
Emmitt Smith.
Who cares if that was true? Like, oh, we should definitely pay this guy millions of dollars. His dad was really good.
Yeah,
that's a stupid thing to say.
Great business decision.
No, you know what? His dad. I'm sorry, if you'll pardon me, is annoying. His dad is going to the first meeting with his son in the Cleveland Browns, or he went to the first meeting, or he at least said that he was going to the first meeting to make sure that his son wasn't going to take a back seat to any other quarterbacks out there. That's why they didn't want. They probably didn't want his dad. Jerry Jones probably called around and said, "Hey, steer clear of this
I'll tell
guy."
you what
Okay?
actually happened. Okay, here's the report. If you haven't seen it,
I haven't.
Okay, what actually happened is during interviews, Sanders took no accountability at all for anything. So what happened is they would pull up some plays where Sanders had made mistakes, and see, they do this to test your leadership skills. Because true leaders take responsibility, even if it's not their fault. Okay? Sanders spent his entire time blaming everyone else on the field for when something went wrong. And that's not the mark of a leader. And that's exactly why he kept falling. He came in to the interviews arrogant, like he was the best thing ever. And no one likes that. No one on the team is going to like that.
Yeah.
That's not how leaders lead. Leaders lead on the field. From actually taking account when something wrong happens. You see coaches do this all the time. This is my fault. I didn't prepare my players correctly. They had nothing to do with what's going on the field, technically, the way it played out. You know, the coach didn't drop the game-winning touchdown pass.
Better. He should have found a better way to teach them how to do that.
And you'll see, like, the good quarterbacks do this as well. You know, publicly and to the team, they take responsibility. They could have made a better play here. They could have done this. Sanders was not that person. He wasn't. He didn't do what he was supposed to do. He didn't do well in interviews. And by the way, that's a really important part of any job that you go to, by the way. When you're interviewing, if you go into
Anything
a job
in life.
interview and be like, look, I don't care what it is, you know, I am the best software engineer you'll ever meet. I'm better than AI, you know, whatever the case is. Like, you're not taking into consideration anything else that could potentially happen where you would be called on as a leader to kind of right the ship. And so that's why it has nothing to do with him being black at all.
Yeah.
This whole, like, the owners are just like slave owners and all this stuff for a game where most of the players are black now and they get paid millions of dollars. It's just disgusting.
They're still victims. All right, we got to get
So
votes
ridiculous.
going, guys. Number one was blue.
We only got 2 minutes.
Yeah, number one was blue suit. Number two was assault weapons ban. Number three was clips from Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Number four was Hope Walz and the running thing. I don't know. Number five was the Amazon thing. Number six is this is Biden's fault. Number seven, Pam Bondi, they saved 258 million lives from fentanyl. Number eight was Trump's MS-13 interview. Number nine, Spain/renewable energy. Number 10, Shedeur Sanders.
This is kind of a tough one.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Bondi was doing like an over-the-table BJ.
Oh God, no, it's ridiculous.
All right,
I
I'll
can't
get your
listen
votes
to
in.
it.
While you're voting, I got to tell you to share the show with a friend, a family member, or foe. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Go to GodHatesFeds.com, pick up some merchandise, and there's a button there that says Join GML. Or go to JoinGML.com. That's how you get in the Fed Haters Club. That's how you vote. Your vote does cost a monthly subscription, or you could sign up to be a real libertarian. And then you don't.
Then it's free.
It's free after a one-time fee. You know, no tariffs on these products. This podcast is American made, American bred, an American hairy winning machine,
And American made bread.
Exactly. Wow, split.
What the heck? Whoa, it's not. There's one running away with the pack right now.
Running
Really?
away with the vote.
I just threw this one in here right before we started the show today because it happened to come across the feed, and it's going to be the winner, it looks
Hope
like. It's
Walz.
Hope Walz. Look at that.
I think it's just the irony is why people are voting for this. All right, y'all. Well, if you enjoyed today's episode, do all those things or don't. I don't really care, but Nate does. He's really passionate about it. Doing those. Well, passionate about you doing those things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm passionate about liberty.
About everything, yeah.
Nate wants you to, he's conscripting you like a slave driver to do things for him.
You have to do it.
So do those things. If you do, we'll be back again on Monday. Hope you have a good day, a good weekend, and a good morning, Liberty.